Guys, this is probably the worst advice that I'm hearing from both coaches and managers, owners in the mortgage industry right now. Everybody's going to tell you to both call past clients and real estate agents right now just to schedule meetings, coffee appointments, try to get on their calendar with no real agenda and no reason to call. Although I am an advocate of being in touch with agents in your database, building new relationships, you cannot just call up to set up a meeting with zero plan just to reach out and say hello and say, hey, I want to catch up with you. We haven't caught up for a while. Let's do a coffee meeting. This is the worst thing you can do because it sets you up as basically like a call center guy that really has no value that you're going to provide to the partner other than buying them coffee, which they can buy on their own. I used to be in a coaching program that told you to call 50 agents every single Monday. And not only was it like terrible to do, it was the worst thing. I hated doing it, but also I would call up and they were so bothered by the phone calls. It's the last thing they want to hear after maybe a weekend of open houses is from the lender just calling in and saying, what's up? So if you are going to make phone calls to both real estate agents and past clients, you need to have a totally different approach. Number one is you've got to acknowledge the fact that, one is just say, hey, is this a good time to connect? It's been a bit. Or two, you need to have something unique to offer them. One is I like to talk about what's happening in the mortgage industry with rates and the bond markets, things that might actually be actionable. Two is I like to let them know about some products that might help them convert that next deal if I think it's actually valuable and not just bullshit. And the third one is I like to give them something that we can collaborate on together, something that we can do collectively in their database. Maybe it's hosting a class or a workshop or doing an event together. That way we can build a plan and collaborate on something that's both beneficial to them and their clients. The other advice you might be hearing if you're already in the mortgage business is the cash out refi conversation. A lot of people are pitching cash out refinance right now because let's face it, consumers have a lot of equity. If you're a homeowner right now, or if you have clients that are homeowners, they have a lot of equity in their home and they've got a super low rate more than likely on their first mortgage, but they might have credit card debt. So everybody's pitching the cash out refi, which is, hey, you ought to consolidate all that debt into one new loan. And now you can create a new loan. That's your next transaction. But ultimately, is that in the best interest of the client? You need to constantly ask yourself, hey, does this put them in a better or worse situation? Everybody's trying to get units right now. Everybody's trying to close more loans because there's just not simply enough loans out there. But that can potentially put you in a worse spot because if you give them bad advice here, when rates do come down, you're not going to get a shot at that next loan because somebody else that's giving better advice is going to be better positioned to capture them today and tomorrow. Now, I realize there's not enough transactions out there and you might be tempted to just create a transaction. Two things to think about. One is offer them the HELOC because the HELOC might be a good solution for them. And two is you might have to forego that deal today to ensure that you maintain the relationship so that when rates do get better, now is the time to offer up that cash out refi because it actually makes sense once rates have come down a little bit. Guys, it's a confusing and challenging time in the industry. And so some of the advice out there is just flat out wrong. Do you want to see the best advice and guidance? I'm going to try to share with you the most actionable, useful nuggets. So please just hit that subscribe button. I'll keep creating content to help you be more successful.